Collins Eselemo, from Patani Buntu, Umadi Aziz. We've also had, even as at yesterday, comments by Victor Okumagba and West Ham Edeo, making all sort of false claims. So, and then finally, most importantly, which is what we will start with, the statements made by Gospa Benekama, Tompolo, Michael Johnny, and the rest of them. So this press briefing is to set the record straight, and the first part of the press briefing is scripted, while the second part, which has to do with the delineation, the state of affairs as at today, is not scripted. And then the third part, of course, is Q&A, question and answer. Because I am not Michael Johnny, who will address press conference and will not take questions. I am Alex Eyengho. This press briefing, the first aspect is titled Death Threat to Occupants of an Arson in Ijaghala and Kantu communities in the Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State by Mr. Government Oweizide, Ekpemupolo, aka Tompolo, and his Gbaramatu-Ijaw gang. Please save our souls. Being the test of a press conference addressed by Alex Eyengho on June 11, 2025 in Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. Gentlemen of the press, I bring you warm greetings and wish you and your family Baka Desala in arrears. My name is Alex Oritsegbeyiwa Eyengho. I am a bona fide indigene of Ijaghala and Kantu communities, as referenced above. I am also a registered voter in Ijaghala community. I am equally bona fide indigene of communities like Omadino, Orugbo, Bobi, Ugborodo, Koko, and the rest of them. So I'm a critical stakeholder to talk on this matter, and so are all the people seated here and those behind the camera. Ijaghala Community is a peaceful island located along the Escravos River in the Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. In the same vein, Kantu is a peaceful community located in a creek off the Escravos River. Most of the people of Ijaghala and Kantu are by birth Itsekiri and Ijaw ethnic groups in Delta State. However, the issue of ownership of both Ijaghala and Kantu lands have been litigated by the Itsekiri through Ugborodo and Omadino communities versus the Ijaws of Gbaramatu, and long settled by courts of competent jurisdictions, with the judgments known to parties and the public. Simpliciter, while Ijaghala land is owned by Ugborodo Community, Kantu land is owned by Omadino Community, both in Warri Kingdom under the Olu of Warri. This urgent save our souls cry is to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Governor of Delta State, and the Nigerian security agencies. It is a cry born out of Ijaghala and Kantu existential threat in the hands of the Ijaws, particularly those of Gbaramatu under the watch of Tompolo. The death and arson threats issued to Ijaghala, Kantu, Obodo, Omadino, Ugborodo, and other Itsekiri communities became intense and indeed climaxed recently when videos made by spokesman of Gbaramatu-Ijaw, God's Power Ekpemupolo, and one other youth started trending on various social media platforms. The unacceptable gun on the head reprieve conditions given by Tompolo and his gang to Kantu and Ijaghala communities is that the leadership of both communities should compulsorily address a press conference where they must announce to the world that the Gbaramatu-Ijaw own both communities, failing which both communities shall be pulverized, sacked, and occupants killed. They have successfully got some Kantu people under duress to address the said press conference and have fixed Friday, June 13, 2025 for Ijaghala Community to follow suit. That's 3 days away or so. Since the very unwilling Ijaghala community is next, there is palpable tension everywhere. We are not in doubt whatsoever of the capacity of Tompolo and his gang to carry out their threat against the Ijaghala community, particularly for the following reasons. 1. During the wake of the needless fratricidal Warri crisis in the late 90s, Ijaghala community was the first community along the Escravos River to be completely pulverized and sacked by Tompolo and his Gbaramatu-Ijaw gang, and as such made indigenes and residents of the community to become internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Nigeria for over a decade. They did it before. They can do it again. And this is very, for you to understand, because they claim their own Ijaghala. They claim their own Kantu, they claim their own Omadino everywhere. They own everywhere. But it's a simple logic. If I own this building now, no matter how angry I am, can I put fire on it and bring it down completely? It only shows that they don't have an inch of Ijaghala, Kantu, Omadino, and all those communities they are making, because they burnt all these places. You cannot, even a lunatic will not burn where he sleeps. That's number one. Number two, a few years ago, the Ijaws did everything to enforce their burial culture on Ijaghala community, to the extent that they forcefully exhumed the corpse of my brother, who was buried in the usual Itsekiri culture, and reburied him in tandem with the Ijaw burial culture. What can be more bizarre? The Ijaws have continued to use force of arms and intimidation from time to time in the Ijaghala community, as if the people are conquered people. Ditto Kantu. At some point, the leadership of the Ijaghala community was pressured to publish that the community wishes to leave Madao ward in Ugborodo Federated Communities and join Gbaramatu ward, allegedly as directed by their king and Tompolo. Apparently, the Ijaws are vexed that Ijaghala was captured by the INEC and other government official documents as an Itsekiri community, and rightly so. The community, of course, that is the Ijaghala community, warded off the pressure. Our position here has always been that the 3 units currently in the Ijaghala community is integral part of Madao ward in Ugborodo Federated Communities. We cannot exit this ward for any reason and join Gbaramatu ward. If anything, we are actually pushing for a distinct ward from our 3 units to be known as Ijaghala Ward. This explains why Tompolo and his gang fraudulently removed one of the 3 units in Ijaghala under Madao Ward and added it to Gbaramatu Ward in the recent controversial INEC delineation in the Warri Federal Constituency. However, we thank God that the INEC presented so far in a proposal. However, we thank God that what INEC presented so far in a proposal is just a proposal, meaning that the status quo of the old wards and units structure in the Warri Federal Constituency stand. The Gbaramatu-Ijaw also pressured the Ijaghala community to immediately agree to the change of name of the only school in the community from Egogo Primary School to Igbeha Primary School. The Ijaghala community also pushed back on this word order. It is for these above reasons that we call on President Tinubu and the Nigerian security agencies to immediately call on Tompolo and his gang to stop tormenting Ijaghala, Kantu, and other Itsekiri communities with the threat to forcefully evacuate and pulverize these communities if the leadership refuse to abide by their word and insane orders, which of course all right-thinking Itsekiri communities, be it Ijaghala, Kantu, Obodo, Omadino, etc., are not willing to yield to. Suffice it to say also that Tompolo is doing all these because of the monopoly he enjoys in the federal government pipeline surveillance contract awarded to his Tantita company. He is using the humongous money from the contract to intimidate the Itsekiri in their homeland of the Warri Federal Constituency by forcefully annexing their lands, terrorizing and harassing them on a daily basis, particularly in the riverine communities. Perhaps it is time for Mr. President to take a critical look at this undeserved monopoly currently being enjoyed by Tompolo and his Tantita company in the interest of equity, justice, fair play, and sustainable peace and security in the Warri Federal Constituency. Thank you. Now I go to the second part of this press briefing, which is the update on the highly dollarized delineation exercise in the Warri Federal Constituency. We have listened to some Ijaws, Victor Okumagba, Wesam, Edeo, and the rest of them, Colin Seselemo, Tompolo, and even God's Power Benekama, including Michael Johnny, where they spewed a whole lot of trash on the process. Most people who talk about the so-called Supreme Court judgment, which the Itsekiri people respect, were law-abiding people. They have not even read the judgment. They have not read it to know what really, the order or the final judgment is. They just talk off the cuff. We have no qualms with the delineation. We have no qualms with that because we are very confident if things are done properly. There is no way the Ijaws or the Urhobos will be more than the Itsekiri. Itsekiri, the homeland of the Itsekiri is the 3 Warri local government areas which make up the Warri Federal Constituency. That is the homeland of Itsekiri. Itsekiri is the majority, over 90% of the total population of the 3 Warri LGAs. But because the Itsekiri people, we believe in the principle of leave and let's leave. That is why we allow most people who came, customary tenants, settlers, today to be living with us Otherwise, and this thing that I've always said it, there is concept of homeland everywhere, including Delta State. We have 25 local governments in Delta State. The Anioma people, that's in Delta North, they have 9 local governments. That is exclusively their homeland. The Urobos have 8 local governments. That is exclusively their homeland. The Isokos have 2. The Ijaws have 3. Patani, Burutu, Bomadi. The Itsekiris have 3. Warri South, Warri North, and Warri Southwest. That is the homeland of the Itsekiri people. That does not mean in these various homelands there are no other tribes or ethnic groups there. Take for instance, in the 8 local governments owned by the Urobos, which is their homeland, we don't have problem. We have Itsekiris in large numbers who have indigenous communities in Okpe. Go to Saple, we have Ajogoibo, we have Ajimele, we have even in Okpe here, we have Bolokoso. We have several Itsekiri communities, but we will not go and tell them that, oh, this is our homeland. But that space we occupy, you understand, it's our space. They are indigenous in those places. Ditto in Anioma, we have Itsekiri who are there, Olu and all of that, they are there. But they will not wake up tomorrow and say, look, Anioma, we own this place, which is what the Ijaws are doing. Ijaws, their homeland, as far as Delta State is concerned, is Patani, Burutu, Bomadi. Ijaws in the Warri South. First and foremost, there is no Ijaw in Warri South local government. They don't have half community in Warri South local government. They don't. Yes, they exist in Warri North and Warri Southwest. And they know their status. They are settlers and customary tenants. And I don't need to go, I'm sure most of you listen to the press statement by the Omadino Community yesterday or so. They have settled the matter. There is no part of the 1,520 square miles in terms of land of the 3 Warris that has not been litigated and decided up to the Supreme Court. But the Ijaws have come out severally to say they don't obey court judgment. Tompolo said it. That is just paper. They're not going to, they want to use force of arms. Take for instance, because what they do, they sack and then rename the communities. In the entire, from Warri South here to the end of Escravos River, the only 2 communities that have boundaries at the Ubefa end is Omadino and Ugborodo. All those Ijaw communities that you see, they are just people who were accommodated either by Itsekiri of Omadino or Itsekiri of Ugborodo community. But they are there today. We are not saying they should leave, because even under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you can live anywhere. I was born and bred in Lagos. I played my politics in Lagos until 2011 when I transferred my voter's card back to Warri in my Ijaghala community in Warri Southwest. So nobody is saying you should leave. We're in the 21st century. Nobody is going back to all those days of slavery and all of that. But not to the extent that the tenants now want to become the landlord through force of arms, through intimidation, through killing and all of that, through the naming of the community. I give you a critical example which you all know. The Maritime University today, which they are forcefully calling Okerekoko. There's nothing like Okerekoko. It is Okereigo, and it is owned by Omadino. That is Omadino land. But through dollarization and everything, they got, the thing to be named as Okerekoko. There's nothing like that, and we want to use this opportunity to appeal to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's an activist, he's a Democrat, he believes in law and order, that the Maritime University should be appropriately captured. It is Maritime University Okereigo and not Okerekoko. That should be reversed. in the interest of equity, justice, and fair play, we believe that Mr. President, being a Democrat himself, who believes in law and order, who has won so many victories in the Supreme Court, we believe if he was properly guided, he would not have assented to that name, Okanekuku, because he's a man of justice. So we are using this opportunity to appeal to Mr. President that maritime universities should be accordingly reversed in terms of the naming to the Maritime University Okanekuku. There are many other names the Ijaws have changed over the years, particularly after the Warri crisis, through force of arms. So that is that about that, but I have made it clear there is no single Ijaw community in Warri South local government. Then let's come to Urobos in Warri South. Urobos in Warri South are micro-minority. Micro-minority, even up to the last population census. You are all journalists. Go and look at the last population census. It shows very clearly that the Itsekiris, of course, there is no gainsaying that. There must be majority in their own homeland. The Itsekiris are the majority. And I see Victor Okumagba parading court judgment Okumagba, try to mislead the press that they have Supreme Court judgment. I can only say most people have not even bothered to look at this Supreme Court judgment. You had a Supreme Court judgment and you are given 221 acres, not hectares, acres, in possessory title, not radical title, possession, that you can stay there under the overlordship of the Olu of Warri. The radical title rests with the Olu of Warri. And that's what they parade, just 221 acres, which they, of course, they have tried to extend and go beyond what the court judgment said. So we just want to make it clear, that Supreme Court judgment is to the extent of possession. They have right to stay there, but not radical title. Unlike, for instance, Ugborodo also had Supreme Court judgment. The entire Ugborodo is bigger than all these their local government area. Radical title, Supreme Court judgment. Ugborodo is outside the Warri South. So we have to make this very, very clear. So all the misinformation, that they are, taking all around in various TV stations, how false. The three Warri local government, which makes up the Warri federal constituency, is the homeland of the Itsekiri people under the overlordship of the Olu of Warri. Understand? We are not saying people should not stay. You can stay. You can contest. If you win, it's election. If you win, you win. But don't say we should go home. That is not acceptable. So the position here today, so that you will all know, and that's why you are seeing the gang up between the Ijaws and some Urubos. What INEC did, like you all know, it's only a proposal, and they gave the proposal to the three ethnic groups in the area. Said, go back and look at it and then make your input. We have done our own. We have submitted avalanche of evidence, court judgments, and all of that. When we got there, the Ijaws said all their evidence has been burnt. They can't find it. Urobos said gorilla and all this have swallowed their own. They did not present a shred, 1 page of document to substantiate their false claim. For the Itsekiri, if you look at the document, over almost 100-page document we submitted. So there is no way the federal government will see that and allow that highly dollarized delineation process, which is a proposal, to now become permanent. It is not possible. It is not possible. It's not going to happen. And that is why the gang up, that's why they are going about. Because they know. And the federal government has told them that let's maintain status quo. And what is the status quo? Is that the ward structure and the unit structure remains. Whatever they are done is a proposal, and it will always remain as proposal. And I know it will not fly. It was a highly dollarized process, and even the Urhobos working with the Tompolo and his people, they have been highly dollarized. So, but we have very firm confidence that we are on the path of truth. We are on the path of justice. We have our documents, we have our paper. It's just because people don't respect Supreme Court judgment. Now, they want to be picking and choosing which judgment to be obeyed. We don't have problem. Court says, redelineate Warri Federal Constituency. Do it, but follow your law. Follow the guidelines of INEC. And when you do it, we are very confident that we are the majority. Like I told you, the Itsekiri in the Warri Federal Constituency, we are more than almost 90%. By the time you add, there are other ethnic groups in Warri Federal Constituency. Igbos are here, Hausas are here, they vote here, Yorubas are here, they vote here. Not that you will have Ogborodo market. Ogborodo market is market a house? Is that a word? Do you vote in the market on election day? Ijaws are not in Warri South, they are in Warri North, and they are Warri Southwest as customary tenants and settlers. Their homeland is Patani Burutu Bumadi. We just thought, so the update on the INEC is that we maintain status quo, and that is what is paining the Ijaws and Urhobo. They want that proposal to be legalized because in their warped mindset, it favored them after dollarizing the process. That will not stand, that will not work. So at that point, let me end my scripted and unscripted press briefing here, so we can now take questions from you. Anybody here, critical stakeholders in Warri Kingdom. Yeah. And it's also important because, you know, Victor Umagba, whose mother is Itsekiri anyway? Whose mother is Itsekiri? Who has benefited from the Itsekiri as is more than the Urhobo as is? Whom we have taken care of? He's jumping about like cricket from channel to Arise to TVC because he's been sent by his Ijaw ally to do all of those things. He said that we only have in Warri South, Ubeji and Ugborodo Community. I think that's a talk from that's act of lunacy. 98% of the communities, legitimate communities in Warri South local government are Itsekiri communities. 95, if not even 100%, are Itsekiri communities. So Victor Okumagba should not be propelled by the dollarization of his brain, you know, to be, you know, making all sort of statements. You know, he's from Idimusobo. There's nothing like Okere Urhobo. We have Okere. There's nothing like Okere Urhobo. That's why they make all. They say they have more kingdoms in Warri South than Itsekiri. Those are clans. They are clans. Staff of office clans. They are not kingdoms. Look, I am from Gbaramatu too. You may not like it, but I will not take what belongs to my mother and give to my father, or to what belongs to my father and give to my mother. Nobody, Tompolo and Belekawa, they are no more Gbaramatu than I am. I am Gbaramatu from father's side. So I have as much stake as they do, if not more than that. Tompolo is my younger brother, but as a reborn person is like my nephew. But what they are doing is wrong. They just believe, oh, Itsekiri are not much. And they talk of population. Go and do your population in your Patani Burutu Bumadi. Maintain your status here. We are not saying you should go away. They talk of population. How many did the Tompolo that is talking? They have just one child, a girl. Just one child. I have at least 4 now. I'm still counting. So Itsekiri, they just give this misrepresentation that the Itsekiri are not many. Itsekiris are many. We are the majority in our homeland in Warri Federal Constituency in terms of population. Urobo in Warri South, they are micro minority. We have other ethnic groups here: Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. We don't have to wake up and say, "Oh, they are." No, let's. Victor Okumagba should know better. He has eaten the salt and pepper of Itsekiri people by his mother being Itsekiri. Yeah. No. Yes, you can. I don't need to. We all know the names of communities in Itsekiri, of Itsekiri in this Warri South. And for someone to now come and say we have only Ugborodo and Ubeji. Is Orubo not in Warri South? Omadino not in Warri South. Ugbori, Ekurede. There's nothing like Ekurede Orobo. These are things they just change after crisis. Ekurede is Ekurede. Here is Ekurede. We have Ekurede Orobo, which is an outlet. But there's nothing like Ekurede Itsekiri. It's Ekurede. We have Ugbori. We have several other communities here. Name one Ijaw community in Warri South. One. I'm not saying two. They don't have any. So INEC, because they dollarize INEC, they now gave them 3 wards where you don't have one community. Or Mila is Mila community. Warri Corner, is that community. Ijaghala community. Ogborodo the community. Market, that is named. Just like calling Hausa market, Igbo market community. So let's make it very clear, and we cannot emphasize it enough. The 3 Warri local governments that makes up Warri Federal Constituency is the homeland of the Itsekiri people, and we are the majority, over 95% of the population. We can take questions. I told you, the stand is very clear. We have said we have no qualms with the Supreme Court ordered delineation, even though we are not happy that Warri Federal Constituency was singled out. When you want to do delineation or redelineation, you do it nationwide. Why single out Warri Federal Constituency? It's because of the agenda, the sinister agenda of the Ijaws of Gbaramatu, and in collaboration with some Urobos like Victor Okumagba and the rest of them, to change us. They are even going beyond the Supreme Court judgment, because I have seen the Supreme Court judgment. There is nothing there. They say go back and do, but they say Victor Okumagba keep lying to Nigerians that the Supreme Court judgment said all the existing ward and unit structures are fraudulent. There is nothing like that in the Supreme Court judgment. That's misleading. That's mischievous. So I task you as journalists to even get a copy, CTC copy of the judgment and see, so that you'll be able to see the wheat from the chaff. So our position is very clear. It's a proposal. That proposal by INEC, that dollarized proposal, is unacceptable to the Itsekiri people, and we have submitted evidence to back up our position. They would not submit a sheet of paper. So the position is that status quo remain. And meanwhile, in Warri South, we are even still challenging the 12-10 ward structure, where we have a judgment that has not been obeyed till today. That is still in court, because it's originally 10 wards. They went behind the scene and said it's now 12 wards. So status quo remain. That is the position of the Itsekiri until the federal government and other relevant agencies, INEC and the rest of them, we do the right thing in accordance with the extant laws and the guidelines of INEC.
One question, please.
Yes.
Sir, there are reports from the Itsekiri angles that the INEC delineation is very, very fraudulent. And according to them, they said there are evidence that the coordinates are misplaced, that they use several words, like this community you are now might represent 4 words. So I would like anybody to throw more light on those fraud, because according to the Itsekiri people and the reports I've read, the fraud are very, very eminent. So anybody that has idea of the coordinates and the fraud in that place should throw more light on it so that the public can understand.
Thank you.
Let him stay here. Stay up.
This way.
Yes.
Thank you for the question. It's very simple. I am from the 3 Warris local government, Warri Federal Constituency. And my name is Ekpemupolo, and what my brother asks is very simple. You know, some of the coordinates, you know, what INEC did was very simple. They repeated coordinates at different intervals so that when you check it, you as the layman, when you check it, you would not know until you use the GPS coordinate tracking system. Now, what you do is simple. If you put one of the coordinates in the GPS tracking system and put another one, you will see one from Ondo State. That is the exported coordinates, communities from Ondo State, Edo State, Udu, Ugeli, and they made up for the Ijaw people of Gbaramatu Kingdom. Now, let me explain one to you. Somewhere in Warri North, for example, they took a coordinate. The coordinate, if you put it, is on top water to form a wall. That is, if you put the coordinate on the GPS, it will show you middle of the river. And there are no communities in the middle of the river. You see communities like Christmas Bene, American Bene, Dollar Bene, XY Bene. You know, so it is just a complete fraud that INEC did. They did it to our own detriment, thinking we would not be able to know that these coordinates were manufactured to the detriment of the Itsekiri people. Now, if you look at Eyengho in Warri South, that they said they created word for the Ijaw people. Eyengho is in Ijaw. That's Eyengho. The primary school is in Ijaw, but they created it and manufactured it to Warri South so that they will use it to create a word for the Ijaw people who are not residents, who are not people from Warri South. I recall also that when James Ibori was governor, the Miller Waterside, where we now have shops and all that, where the Ijaw people are occupying for their businesses, Ibori called them and said, people are from Bayelsa State and from other states. Take money and go back to where you came from. He gave them money and they left. After they left, after like 1 year, they now came back. When Dr. Oduana took over, he set up a panel which was headed by Frank Omari and a gentleman from Ogbijo. He spoke to the people and told them the government says they want to use this place as a waterfront. This is not a community for Ijaw people. Take this money and go back to where you are coming from. They gave them money, settled them, and they left. After a while, they came back. So it's very sad and unfortunate for somebody to just wake up and say there are Ijaw communities in Warri South. It's very unfortunate. Miller Waterside and those areas, they're all waterfront. They're all shop, John Oates, Panapina, and all that. Those are areas which were used by the white people to, you know, for their businesses. But to just come and say they have Ijaws in Warri South is unfortunate. Now let me explain one thing to you. If you go to one community, say Ogborodo now, it's very close to Ovia Southwest in Edo State. They manufactured wall units from Ovia Southwest in Edo State and added it to Ogborodo, which had 13 units to make 4 wards in one inside one local government. That is, Ogborodo is a ward in Warri North. Now they took units, that is communities from the Ijaw communities like Funama and the rest in Edo State. So they took units from that area, took units from Awoye in Ondo State, and added it to one ward and made it one ward, which with 7 units. Take for example, somewhere like Sonny Jero's community. They gave them 7 units with 1 ward. And in the INEC guideline, you have to have something like 50 units or more to split into wards. But that is not the case for what they did. How can you give 7 units and make it a ward? So the case is that they imported wards from different areas to make up wards for Ijaw people, particularly in Warri North, Warri Southwest, and Warri South. So I think that is the case. Thank you.
So we would like you to throw more light on that angle, because the Ijaws are currently claiming Omadino Community and Ugborodo Community. They say they are the owners, they are the founders. So what would you have to say about that? Your name?
First, my name is Oritsegbeyiwa Eyengho. I'm a community leader in Omadino Community. under the leadership of Oweizide. Tompolo and his cohorts, I vehemently know that they are ultra-crepidarian. All the word ultra-crepidarian means when you are talking about something you know nothing about. There are 4 years after our Supreme Court judgment, they came and begged us. It was one job. They went to court. And they came and begged the Omadino people, which is our 4 years, and told our 4 years, please, we are tenants in this place. Allow us to take 2/3, 1/3 on the basis of the job they want to do. If they are 4 years, they have agreed to that, that they are tenants. Now, yes, they are 4 years. They have surrendered their leadership. They have surrendered their life, their own life, the life of their unborn children to us, that they are tenants in a court judgment. So what is Tompolo saying? What are they saying? Well, being a Omadino doesn't stop me. I'm still worried. We have to, if you are going to Ugborodo, if you know there's a FM station there. That FM station, that area went to court. If you look at their fathers there, they agree that the Olu of Warri owns the land. And they surrendered 2/3, 1/3. They begged the Olu of Warri that the Olu of Warri should give them, if they found, they give the Olu of Warri 2/3, 1/3. There's a court case. There's another court case. You know, they don't know. Victor Okmagba doesn't know anything. It should be a strong daft. There's a case where Anurobo made case concerning Igbudu and everything that concerning Agbasa. And the judge there said, if you are from Igbudu, you are from any part of Agbasa, you are a tenant to the Itsekiri. And that if you are not from this place, and if you are not an Itsekiri who comes from this place, you are a tenant. What is he saying? Is he a daft? Well, if he's willing, we can give him the court case. So, Tompolo, you know, in any gathering, I keep on saying there are 2 sets of people that talk. People who talk because they have something to say, and people who talk because they want to talk. They are only talking because they want to talk, but that they don't have anything to say. Thank you very much.
Your name again?
My name is Oritsegbeyiwa Eyengho. Thank you.
Very key examples from the Warri Southwest axis. I'm coming. From the Warri Southwest axis. That we have Okerenyo, which they corrupted to Okerenkoko. We have Ugborodo, which they corrupted to Kokodiagbene. In fact, maybe my younger brother there will say more. Anywhere you hear Bene this, Bene that, Bene no, it's all fake. And Itsekiri communities changed. All. There are so many, we can't be there, plethora of them. Particularly, and this they did just after the Warri crisis. You understand? So, but let me, in ending from me, and I must say this, and I'm going to quote somebody, a very prominent Urobo leader. He was actually, he made a statement as the president of Urobo Progress Union, UPU, Chief Charles Obule. Chief Charles Edewo. Charles Edewo, as sitting president of UPU. And that's why most Urobos don't like him. He said, when he was president of UPU, that any Urobo man in Warri that dies and is buried in Warri is a slave. He was very clear. He is from Eku. He was here in Warri. Was UPU. He said, any Urobo, you can Google it, any Urobo man. Because he said his position is that Urobos all came from somewhere, that's where they came to Warri. Any Urobo man or woman that dies and is buried in Warri is a slave. Quote and unquote, Chief Charles Edewo, UPU President General. That tells you we know those who, because they want to make them that were buried here, people like Benjamin Okumagba and all of that. So I leave you to make the conclusion. Thank you.
Kantu.
Which forcefully they will go there. It's being supervised by Tompolo himself. That is either you address this press conference or we will come and chase you people out. In the case of Ijaghala is a peculiar case, and I can understand why most of my brothers and sisters, particularly those who live there, it's like you are in the lion's den. Because Ijaghala, you know, it's a creek, you enter, all the communities to the left are Ijaw communities. All the communities to the right are Ijaw communities. In fact, Oporosa, where is Tompolo's base, the next community is Ijaghala. So you have several, so they are so, it's like you are in the middle of your enemy. Yes. So that is the fear they are using, particularly as it concerns Ijaghala and Kantu. You understand? And that because it's like for them it's low hanging fruit. We can easily intimidate these people because they are here with us. It's very easy to hit, to strike. So that's why we're appealing to the government. Yes, they got some people, Edkan and the rest of them. You know, I think Omadino people address this well because Edkan's position some years ago is different from the dollarized position he's holding now. You understand? He admitted some years ago that Omadino people owns cattle, and that is true. We are not formulating or trying to lie about it. It's Omadino land, just like Ijaghala is Ugborodo land. But the people, some of them have dual ethnicity, Ijaw, Itsekiri. Why some, even in that country, are purely Itsekiri? But some, particularly those who are descendants of Oweizide, Igbeha and the rest of them, their mother side is Omadino. You understand? So that is it. So they are using force of arm to now compel all these communities they want to claim to say you must address press conference or we will destroy your community. And the next, now they've done cattle. They got some people, not all cattle people are part of it. I even heard that they even gave money to Edkan and the rest of them to do that, apart from the intimidation. But Ijaghala is next now. We are saying Ijaghala, in case you see any press conference, know that they did it with gun on their head. It's not the will of the Ijaghala people, and that's why we are saying the government agencies should intervene. It is the primary responsibility of government to protect the life of property of each citizen. So the governor of Delta State, the president, the local government chairman the local government chairman of Orisate, unfortunately, is Ijaw Gbaramatu-man. You understand? So that's the situation. So Friday, you are journalists, you look out for it, and if they don't do it, probably it's this press conference that have scared them. But everything is set for Friday for Ijaghala community to do the same thing Kantu community did by force of arms.
Thank you, sir.